her words, fix it. Really an extraordinary woman. Joining me now is Pastor Thomas Dixon, co-founder of the Coalition People United to Take Back Our Community and former chairman of the South Carolina Crime Reduction Coalition. Pastor, I appreciate you being with us. Thank you so much. I'm sorry to take with these circumstances.
Yes.
What happens next in this community, and how concerned are you about what happens next?
Extremely concerned. We have to look at what's happened, how we got to Walter Scott as being a systemic problem. This didn't just occur overnight.
This isn't just one bad officer that would happen to be videotaped. You're saying this is a systemic problem.
It definitely is, and most in the inner city community, minority community, know that this is a systemic problem. That's why we have a thoroughly disconnected relationship between law enforcement and the community, because this problem does exist. The racial profiling, the officer-involved incidents like that. I mean, even me as a local leader and pastor, I experience the same troubles. I look over my shoulders the same way as Pookie and Ray Ray on the block.
Is that right? You do. You look over your shoulder. You're one of your
Yes, I do. When a blue light comes behind me, I go through the same motions. I keep my hands clear. I make sure I don't make any sudden motions. Even before I go into my glove box to get my license and registration, I'm going to let them know. That's what I'm going to do.
It's so interesting you say that. I mean, I've heard this from so many people I talk to, and there seems to be such a different way of viewing things in white America and among African Americans. And I see this on Twitter now all day long today. People saying, a lot of people saying, look, it's outrageous what happened in this video, but this is a rare occurrence. This is, something that just happened to be captured on videotape. I talked to a lot of African Americans in this community who say, you know what? This just happened to be caught on tape, but this has happened plenty of times before. I mean, the state newspaper says more than 200 officer shootings of weapons in the last 5 years. Not a single one. A couple of indictments, a handful. Not a single officer convicted of anything.
You just put your finger on the pulse of the problem, because there are too many people who have decided how other people are supposed to feel. Those that set policy and procedure, instead of inviting those people in and respecting what they say about how they feel, they say, oh, we've made the policy and procedure. You shouldn't feel that way. You shouldn't feel that this is a racist action. You shouldn't feel discriminated upon. You shouldn't feel that the police are riding down on you. But the reality is, from the other side, if it was respected by those policymakers, then they would understand, okay, these people, they have a problem. There's a problem existing.
When I talk to the family, they say, look, we can't say that race was involved with this. We don't know. We don't have that information. When you see this, do you say that as well? Or do you say, given the history, it's involved in most things? How do you see it?
I see it exactly as that. It is racial. It is racial, because these situations, we don't see these situations popping up as regularly. They do happen with other nationalities. The predominant victims in officer-involved shootings are African-American males, young or old. And so to think that it's not racial, then why are the numbers like that? It goes to the same picture as incarceration. Why are the numbers like that? How come only third in population standings, but number one in prison in incarceration? Unless it's racial.
When you hear from this family, when you hear from the mother, Walter Scott, saying she has forgiveness in her heart, I mean, I know you're a person of faith,
yes,
but that's an extraordinary statement to me.
That's the reality of it. That's the only way that you can move forward. Other than that, she would stay stuck in a time warp at 9:30 Saturday morning, April 4th, 2015, and she'd never be able to transition to a life, her and her family.
Pastor, I appreciate it.
Thank you,
sir.
Really appreciate you.
Pastor Thomas Dixon, just ahead, after hearing weeks of wrenching testimony, jurors convict the Boston bomber on all 30 counts. Now they'll decide if he lives or dies, what some survivors of the bombing are saying tonight.